Hello guys, today we'll be reacting to
No.
yeah. Let's just see Jesus animation.
Without one up.
Okay. Which one that I haven't seen before? I hate reading this one.
Did we saw that one?
I read Jad's.
And subscribe and like.
Books, libraries.
Subscribe to them and subscribe to us also.
And
like.
Reading.
Yeah, those are all things you should do.
And
Now,
we're calling this the Chungus Gaming Crew.
If we get this to let's say 20 subscribers, we will get a giant bear. Okay, and we're planning to name that bear Chungus.
Yeah.
So please.
That's why we named our account Chungus Gaming, but we can't do it right now.
And now let's continue.
Books, libraries. It's all boring. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not. When I was growing up, it was pretty normal. But now I always hear people gush about how great it is to bundle up in a warm blanket with, quote, a good book, while the faint light of the fall evening peeks out of their cracked windows and hits their collection of plants perfectly. They've got a warm cup of chamomile tea they've prepared with the Keurig they use daily. And actually, it's a funny story. They were about to get one at Target because they were on sale, but they received one as a gift instead. What a coincidence. And they have a cat. I'm not saying that isn't a poetic life you've got going on over there, but I still don't like reading and have a cat allergy. It's kind of complicated.
If you have a cat, it's almost like really smooth life. I don't know why, but that's kind of like the meaning of cats, right?
But we have a corgi.
We have a dog.
And that's
reading
better
sounds
than cats.
really nice to me. It's supposed
Because
to be calming
they're soft
and good
and
for
they know all about you and they love you. They want to be your perfect. They don't want to be treated like a bad.
But if you like cats, that's good. Anyways, it's really, really, really cuddly.
I would like your opinion. Leave it down in the comments.
Thank you.
brain in some sort of way. I don't know how exactly, but people repeat it all the time, so it might be true. But I think I've got some weird reading PTSD from school because the other part of my brain thinks about how boring and slow and too quiet it's gonna be, and I feel like I have to take notes and memorize things.
That's literally me in a test about reading. I'm like,
oh,
To Kill a Mockingbird. And, oh God, was I supposed to read up to chapter 7 by Thursday or through it? I used to love reading. I still have the strong memory of going to my elementary school's library and being excited to check out the next Geronimo Stilton book because I loved the pictures and fun text they had. They always wrote the word cheese like this. And being able to read books that had more than 10 words on the page was impressive to a 6-year-old. Whenever I found a book I liked growing up, I would read it nonstop. I was able to crush a 300-pager in 2 days, which I don't think is considered impressive anymore, but it was in 5th grade, and look, that was the only self-worth I had, alright? But when school started making us read books by force, it kind of took the fun away from me. I don't like being told what to do with my free time, especially if you're going to make me read a book written in the 1940s that I need cliff notes to decode just to realize that all the animals were communists. Also, it's 20% of my grade. I get it, though. What else are we going to do in English class? We can all understand each other, right? We're speaking English.
Inside a story.
That's got to count for something, right? But the more I had to read really cryptic books in my spare time where the symbolism is in the color of the main character's curtains, and I'm not even observant enough to realize they had curtains, led me to not really having fun.
Just a little.
And also feeling like an idiot. I like my subtle tea like I like my coffee. Splash in my face. How am I supposed to know what the A stands for adultery?
How do
I don't know. It could mean a woman, for all I know. Asparagus. But all that isn't anything new. Everyone complains about English assignments. Everyone hates reading the Scarlet Letter. Everyone thinks school should die. However, something that also locked in my disdain for reading was my mom.
You should.
Hi, Mom. Of course, as a parent, you don't want your child to do nothing but play video games all day. That obviously leads to undeniable life failure. So what's the solution? make them read more. And on paper, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
That's
Honestly, I'll
boring.
probably use
A
that
little.
parenting technique too, when applicable. I think my mom made
That's
the
a
obvious
little
good
boring, but
parenting
it's fun
decision.
at the
But
same
as the
time.
victim here, I believe I fell in the small minority where it had the overall opposite effect. During summer vacation, my mom would always tell me that I needed to read at least 2 books so I don't forget how to read. Whenever my mom would walk in on my brother and I playing Mario Kart together in the living room, she would ask if we've read yet today, which we would respond no, because reading's...
What? Oh. Yeah.
So I don't forget how to read.
No.
Whenever my mom would walk in
Not
on my
this
brother and I
again.
playing Mario Kart together in the living
No,
room,
not
she would
this
ask if
lag.
we've read yet today,
Not
which
the
we would
lag.
respond no, because reading's
I get.
entire books, because I just didn't want to read that much. There was this one about no, because reading's for chumps, and then she'd lock us in our
Okay,
rooms to be
now.
chumps. I started hating reading so much, I would rather do literally nothing than read a book. There were a couple summers where I faked reading entire books because I just didn't want to read that much. There was this one about dragons, I think, called The Secret Country, and I still
Dragon
remember
Tales?
that just looking at the cover would put me in a bad
Bad one,
mood
though.
because of hatred association. Screw your secret country. When I was being forced to read, I would sit angrily on my bed, open the book, move the bookmark a reasonable amount forward to make it look like I read, and then just sit there for 30 minutes staring at it. It was boring, and I don't know what was wrong with me. I could have had at least a decent time if I just tried to read the dang book, but I guess it turned into a dignity thing. Actually, the ironic part is maybe a year or so later, I decided to restart the same book and give it another shot on my own terms. And I finished it in 2 days. It was pretty good. I did it again with another book called Molly Moon and the Morphing Mystery. It's like the 5th book in this Molly Moon series. It's been a while, so I don't really remember the story, but it's about this orphan who can hypnotize people and has a pug. Anyway, it's funky because I actually read the first few books of the series on my own and remember really liking them. I would read them any chance I got, but as soon as I was forced to read this one, I just decided I'd rather literally waste my time and sit alone rebelling against reasonable parenting. But this time I never went back to read it. I think that might have been the point of no return for me. I think the association of reading as a necessity or some sort of punishment has deep-rooted itself in me, and now I just feel like reading isn't fun or I'm in trouble for something even though I live alone. I've tried listening to audiobooks, but honestly, they make me feel really lonely. I don't know why. It might be the lack of visuals. I like pictures. And also no one else is around. It's the same with music. I've never been a big music person, so whenever I try to sit down and do something while listening to music, it somehow enhances this feeling of being alone and like time is going by slower, which makes me uncomfortable. So I always have either YouTube videos or more recently Twitch streams in the background. I'm still not super used to Twitch yet, but I like Ryukar's stuff. He plays Mario Maker. Sometimes I wish I read more. It might be good for me to slow down instead of always consuming fast-paced content on the internet. But on the other hand, I think it's just a preference I have that's been
That was part 1. Bye, guys. Like and subscribe.